So if you hadn't noticed, today is May the 4th, which means May the 4th be with you. If you are a Star Wars fan, this is your holiday. Ironically, this is also my holiday, as I am quite the sci-fi fan. I enjoy Star Wars, so happy May the 4th. Ron, are you as big of a Star Wars nerd or as big of a sci-fi nerd as I am? Please say yes.
I'm gonna have to go with no. I don't think I'm as big of a connoisseur as you. I don't think I know as much as you. I enjoy the Star Wars story.
This is me trying to force choke you over the internet.
I know. I see it. I see it. I like the Star Wars story. I enjoyed episodes 4 through 6, right?
Yep.
4 through 6.
Yep.
Episode 3 I thought was okay. Episodes 1 and 2 did not do much for me. If I could put Jar Jar Binks in a meat grinder, I would.
Everyone else.
No, just the character. Certainly not the actor inside the suit. I don't wish ill will on anybody. But the character.
I think
if I
that
could
was
put
CGI.
the character in a meat grinder.
I think that was CGI. So, to be fair.
Oh, what? Oh, well, there you go. Then yes, put the CGI hologram, put it in a meat grinder, and let's just be done. In fact, I think that's how episode 7 should start. Somehow Jar Jar Binks is there. I don't know how, I don't care, but he's there, and they just put him in the meat grinder, and everybody cheers, and then George Lucas comes out, and he was like, yeah, sorry about that, I don't know what I was thinking. He walks away, and then the actual movie starts. Yeah. That's how I want episode 7 to start. JJ, if you can hear me, JJ, do it. I know you're one of the most successful writers in Hollywood, and I'm a dude that vlogs on YouTube, but you should be taking my suggestions.
Well, it could always start out like that Sparta movie where you kick the guy in the hole. There you go. That's Jar Jar going into the hole.
Just push Jar Jar in the hole.
Sparta! This is Star Wars!
Yeah, just the Millennium Falcon just runs him over and his guts splatter everywhere. That's what I want from Jar Jar Binks. I'm not a fan of the character. I don't know if that was, I don't know if you could tell.
Yeah.
May the 4th be with you.
Not the biggest fan. But nonetheless, as I said, I'm a big fan of Star Wars. I enjoyed this whole, holiday. Showing that, it's Star Wars is a big cultural thing. I didn't even grow up during the time when it was released, so I was like a latecomer to the party. Mm-hmm. Not my fault, by the way, but nonetheless, I joined the party anyway.
I don't think you were a latecomer though, because I think, like you said, it's become a cultural thing. It's been passed down through the generations. So yes, You were not, and neither was I. We weren't old enough to have been there when it was in theaters and stuff like that. But it's been handed down to our generation. Our generation has seen our own Star Wars figurines. We've seen our own movies and stuff like that. The next generation is gonna have theirs. I don't want to say, but no side attended there because I said the words the next generation. But I do think it's gonna be passed down. And, I think that's what Star Wars is. And yeah, as a kid, I loved those movies. I would watch Return of the Jedi on a regular basis.
Empire Strikes Back here. I remember renting the tape and just watching it over and over.
Yeah.
When I was a kid. So just that one. Empire Strikes Back, which is my favorite of the series.
Well, you know what, man? I think that I learned an important life lesson, and this might sound like a bit of a really dude, but when I saw Empire Strikes Back, that was my first experience of, oh wait, the good guys don't always win.
Exactly.
Sometimes you have something to overcome. And I'd never seen a movie like that before. I'd never seen, and I was just confused. I was part of the, there was that comics code when we were growing up, Jeff, where there has to be an anti-drug message. The good guy always has to win. We gotta love our country and blah, blah, blah. And that's what we knew. That was all we knew. Then we see The Empire Strikes Back, and that's a bit of a, I don't know, in some ways that's like the start of your descent in a way, into, free thinking. Because here's a curveball for your feeble developing mind. The good guys don't always win. And my parents had to explain that to me. I was just like, wait, it's not over yet. He's gonna go get the bad guy, right? He's got his fake hand now. He's gonna go do this. Sorry if there were any spoilers there for anyone who's not familiar.
Yeah, seriously.
But I really, and then like my parents were like, no man, movie's over. And I was like, well, he just got his butt kicked. And they were like, dude, that's how it goes down sometimes. Mm-hmm. They didn't say dude. My parents didn't say dude, but that was the notion of it. That was a life, and I thought it was cool. I was like, yeah, okay. He lost today, but he's gonna live to give it another go.
That's right.
I believe in you, Luke. And, yeah, it was an important life lesson for me.
And I just thought it was a really good movie.
It had that going too.
Yeah.
It did have that going too.
Well, I mean,
Yoda.
Seeing them, at Battle of Hoth, for example, right? Just seeing them get overrun by Imperials, they won the day, was just a fascinating sequence. I really enjoyed it. So that's one of my favorite parts, actually, is just during that whole beginning part of that movie with the what is it, the AT-ATs and the snow speeders.
Oh, that was really cool. Now, Jeff, I gotta ask you this, cause I know you're a bigger sci-fi connoisseur than me. At least I'm pretty sure you are.
Much bigger, yes.
Yeah. Did you ever get into the books?
I read a couple of them. A long time ago.
Alright.
Long time ago. And now, of course, all of that expanded universe is now wiped out because of J.J. Abrams retooling everything. So there were some pretty good stories in the books afterwards. As I said, like I read those after high school, so it's been a long time since I've read them, but they were good. Now they're wiped out because of episode 7. But
well, give me a non-spoiler Cliff Notes version of where the books kind of took the story for somebody, because I read one of the books too years and years and years and years and years and years ago, to the point where I wouldn't be able to tell you anything. 'Cause it was in like 5th grade.
Yeah, there's a great deal of things that happened. It would take hours to explain, and I don't think we have that much time.
No, we don't. But what's kind of like just a really basic, it goes here. From the end of Return of the Jedi, what's like a really Cliff Notes for anyone that's not in the know?
Well, I mean, the Republic gets put back together. The Empire still exists, but obviously in a shell of its former self. Luke gets together with another somebody who's an assassin, Mara Jade, marries her, Mara Jade Skywalker. They got kids, Han Solo and Princess Leia, of course, have their own little family, and of course,
all right. So Han
Jedi
gets Leia. All right. Okay.
Yeah, and so they're sort of the next generation of Jedi. Luke, reforms the Order, works out of Yavin Old Temple, and there's just so much stuff.
See, Jeff, that wasn't that hard. See, you did it. That wasn't so hard for you.
That's a very, very simple Cliff Note.
Yeah, no, you skimmed the iceberg. That's all we were asking for. You did it. You did it with flying colors.
I didn't sink the Titanic, that's for sure.
So, Star Trek versus Star Wars, Jeff, where are we at?
I don't think I can get on either side of that. They're two completely different animals.
I agree.
I think.
I agree. But it's a debate that you hear until the end of the time. People go there.
They do. And it's unfortunate to see nerds fight.
It's like sometimes we strength in numbers, you guys. This is when we got to rally together. They're trying to divide us.
Yeah, you can't do the divide and conquer. Us, all of us nerds can we can coexist peacefully. I think.
Yeah.
In fact, there's a really cool sort of the normal coexist sign that has all the religious symbols put together and the word coexist.
Yeah.
They did that with all the different sci-fi franchises, and I thought that was really cool.
That is cool. Well, here's the thing. I will say that I think both have their flaws. Sure. I think both have their perks in terms of characters. I think both have the skeletons in their closets. I thought that like I said, episodes 1 and 2 I thought were absolutely atrocious. I wanted those 2 hours of my life back in both cases. Episode 3 I thought was okay. On the same note, I thought that Star Trek Deep Space Nine should have never occurred. Ever.
Oh, no.
You like Deep Space Nine?
I do.
Oh, I thought it was so boring.
Oh, really?
I wish I had more, but we're going back years and years, so I can't remember specifics.
I don't know if you got into the later seasons of that. I don't know if you lasted that long.
No, I didn't. So in fairness, maybe it did get better.
Dominion War. The Dominion War arc, very good.
I
suggest you check out In the Pale Moonlight. That's a really good episode where it's more of a moral choice, where not to get too deep into it, but the captain basically has to find a way to get the Romulans into the war, and it involves treachery, it involves murder, all sanctioned by the captain in charge, and he's basically recounting how he got it to happen, how he feels about it, and in the end he says, look, I had to do what I had to do.
Alright, see, I didn't stick around that long. Alright, I didn't stick around that long. So in fairness, I didn't stick around that long.
No, I would suggest you check that out. That's one of my favorites. That's a good
Well, how'd you feel about Next Generation then?
I like Next Generation. There are some parts, like the early seasons, were not great, but it got better as it went along. I like Captain Picard.
How can you not?
Patrick Stewart is amazing.
Yeah, you gotta like Captain Picard. Alright, Jeff, well then here, let's go here. Cause this might have to force you to make a choice here. Who has more skeletons in their closet then? Based off of your preferences. The Star Wars franchise or the Star Trek franchise?
Oh, what do you mean by skeletons?
Well, I said episodes 1 and 2 were atrocious. They were terrible. Do you disagree with that?
I don't disagree with that. I
okay.
really can't. They were not great.
Alright, I said that Star Trek Deep Space Nine I wasn't a fan of either.
Sure.
I did not stick around as long as you did, and in fairness. But you would disagree with that. You said no, Deep Space Nine was pretty solid.
It gets better.
It gets better. Okay. Star Trek Next Generation. What little I followed of that, I thought it was good. You're on board with that too.
Mm-hmm. And like, once again, it starts out a little bit weak in the beginning, and then it gets better. And I think that's true with almost every show, though.
Fair enough, but I'm assuming when it comes to the originals with Captain Kirk and so forth, we're both in the camp that those were great.
I might have to disagree with you on that one. I think that there were some pretty good episodes. Don't get me wrong. There was, I forget the name of it, where they go back, Captain Kirk and Spock go back to the past, and basically Kirk has to sit there and watch this woman that he's got feelings for, that he caught some feels for, die. I don't know if you remember.
Oh, okay.
But if you remember that episode,
I don't.
Oh, that was some good because he knew in order to save the timeline she had to die, and he had to let her do it. And Spock had to, Spock with his usual Vulcan coldness says this is how it's got to be, and kind of holds him back.
All right, so you're acknowledging that was good. That had solid moments.
There was some pretty solid ones, but overall, and maybe it's the effects that had it dated, and so sort of the campiness. But then again, there are campy episodes in every series, so that's kind of a part of it. A part of the whole franchise.
Nothing's going to be perfect, but so let me ask you this: in terms of just atrocities. Mm-hmm. Was there anything in the Star Trek franchise that could touch episodes 1 and 2 in Star Wars? Anything that was on that level? Wow, what were you thinking? This should not have happened.
Oh, I'm sure there are.
But you can't think of any.
To mind, I'm not. Oh boy, it is kind of a hard one. I mean,
I'm holding your feet to the fire on this one.
Yeah.
If you're the sci-fi connoisseur, it's time to answer the real hard-hitting questions from some of our less connoisseurs.
There are certainly some episodes of Enterprise that kind of hit that, oh, what were you guys thinking? Kind of thing. And I guess there are episodes of every, and it comes down to personal preference, I think, too, on this. But of every series, there are those 1 or 2 episodes where kind of make you facepalm like, dude, what do you, no, You just had a good episode and then filler. And it
See,
was unsatisfying filler.
Alright, well then let's go here. In terms of movies, were there any movies in the Star Trek franchise that touched the atrocities of episodes 1 and 2? Nemesis? Okay. See, I haven't seen that.
Yep.
I haven't seen that.
Star Trek
Yeah.
Nemesis.
Okay.
So quick plot synopsis on that is that the Romulans, I guess, were taken over by the Remans. They're slave people, right? And they used a clone of Picard in order to be their leader, which made no sense to me. And then they had some, I mean, even the actors, even you know, our pal Geordie LaForge came out of that saying this movie sucked. And
Okay.
he was in it.
All right.
And he was like,
All right.
this was god awful. I mean, at one point they were on a planet and they had this like Jeep with guns with this cheesy action sequence that just didn't feel at all like it should have been there. And then they killed Data.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Isn't he a robot? How did they kill him?
I don't know. Like I said, I haven't seen it in forever. So I don't quite remember quite the details. They crashed the Enterprise into the Scimitar, the Romulan ship, the Reman ship, whatever you want to call it, right? And
All right.
Data saves Picard and then somehow gets destroyed in that exchange, and then they found Lore's head. Yeah, I know, bringing back Data's brother, and it's just, it felt sloppy.
All right. I have no desire to see it. Now, so it looks like in terms of atrocities in the movie franchise, Star Wars is standing at 2. Whereas
Let me
Star
give you
Trek,
another one. Star Trek the motion picture. Oh, and also Star
the
Trek 5.
original Star Trek 5 was one of my favorites. You didn't like
Really?
5? Yeah.
Where they go and go to the center of the galaxy
I think so. It was the 5th one.
with Uhura trying to dance in the desert on Nimbus 3.
Yes. Yes. She danced in the desert. You didn't enjoy that?
I'm not saying I didn't.
Well, you brought it up.
I'm just saying that's one of the things that kind of sticks out. You know what I mean? And it's just, I don't know. It wasn't as good as Voyage Home and Undiscovered Country.
Really? See, I liked the 5th one. I liked Wrath of Khan.
Of course, that's a
I
favorite.
liked the 6th one. That one was great when he was put on trial
Yep.
by the Klingons.
Yep.
That was fantastic. I thought the one right after that, the first like Next Generation movie where Captain Kirk was in it, but Picard, I thought that was well done.
Mm-hmm. Generations. Yep.
But you would say that the first Star Trek movie, Star Trek 1,
The motion
is
picture.
in the same camp as episodes 1 and 2 of the Star Wars franchise. I would have to disagree with you on that one.
I might even have to disagree. It wasn't great, but it wasn't that bad. The costumes were terrible though.
Well, fair enough. I mean, it's a bit
pajamas.
dated.
Yeah.
But so we're looking at 2 atrocities in the movie franchises for Star Wars. Only 1 for Star Trek. So I feel like in the ultimate Star Trek v Star Wars debate, you, by your own accord, are gonna have to be in camp Star Trek. A weird declaration to make on the May the 4th. But,
yeah, I would
like,
suppose. I would suppose that would be the case, and it wouldn't be the case if they hadn't made the went back and did 3 prequels.
alright, fair
And
enough.
that's squarely on George Lucas. And I don't think anybody who's a Star Wars fan is ever going to forgive him for that.
I feel like we made a lot of progress here. We
Did
got
we?
you to commit to this.
Did we?
Yeah. I think that I wanted to see where I could take this. And I didn't know what the answer was going to be.
Right.
But I was like, I'm going to get this sci-fi connoisseur to answer the Star Trek v Star Wars question. Begrudgingly. He doesn't want to answer it. But I'm going to keep trying until I get an answer.
But it
And,
doesn't, even with an admission, it doesn't really kind of get in the way of the overall message, is that you can enjoy both.
Yes. To let you end diplomatically since you want to.
Mm-hmm.
You can enjoy both. And we both do.
And look, a lot of the Star Trek community also, I mean, there's certainly a lot of them would say Enterprise itself was an atrocity far greater than any mortal. I also enjoyed a lot of Enterprise, which will most likely get a lot of Star Trek fans mad at me. But hey, look, I enjoy almost everything. I'm not that picky of a guy.
Fair enough.
There are some things that I do, and some things that I don't, and some things that are great, some things that are just not great, in my opinion. And that's all it is opinion.
Oh yeah, no, personal preference,
personal
taste.
Fair enough.
Exactly.
Fair enough.